Puddins Dance Shop, where today we're gonna learn how to do the Charleston. Just playing. We are gonna tear into Olroy 2.000. Yeah, I really don't know what version of the truck we're on now. Everything's gone wrong, but it's fine. Let's get started. Don't mind me, I'm not whistling diesel. I just need to be able to get to my junk chassis. Olroy 2.000. This right here, Olroy was my dad's truck. We were supposed to just throw a motor in it, go through the brakes, get it going again. Then that turned into, we'll put a 6-liter in it. Then that turned into, hey, apparently this thing's just body lifted with 7 inches of factory body mounts. We'll do a 4-inch lift kit with a 2-inch body mount. We got it ready to this point, and then I realized this frame's just crooked as crap. So, ditch it all. Ha-ha! Woo! Woo-hoo! All right, with our junk chassis in, our hopefully good chassis in, I already measured her, and she's pretty stinking square, which is good because it's the first 4x4 one I have found. That is, we're gonna cut this frame down, which means we're gonna take some out of there, and we gotta take some off the back to get it proportioned correctly for a short bed. We're gonna need to do stuff like strip off our old fuel lines and just stuff that's no longer gonna be relevant to Olroy 2.0. Stuff like this right here. We will then probably need to mock up everything, including our 3/4 ton axles we're going to take from this chassis. They will no longer be on this 4-inch spring because they will be attached to this 6-inch spring. We need to get our fuel system mocked back up, at least the tank in place in case we need to drill holes like we had to do on that other chassis. And we need to get our 6-liter able to bolt in and out of our new chassis. So once again on this project, we're kind of taking a big step back, but it's then so we can go all the way forward, and this truck's gonna be nicer than it was ever planned out to be in its life, I think. We're gonna get straight to the cutting down. Right here is where we want to cut at. This is nice and flat, no kicking in, no kicking up. Right here is where you take your chunk out. You ever see someone cut rubber hose with a wire wheel? Now you have. All right, we're just going for cleanup, quick cleanup, so we can do some laying out. 14 inches is what we're after. So to do that, we're actually gonna do a Z cut. Y'all seen me do this. Well, actually I messed it up on Randy's truck, but not in a way that wasn't salvageable. We're gonna try to do it by doing one series of cut this time, not 2. Told y'all that's nice and flat. See that? Down through there, we don't see anything scary. Nothing's trying to stick up or create a gap. So we know we can take this out. As long as we get that flat and flat over here like that, she's pretty well gonna self-square. So let me measure our gap here, see what kind of area we're working with. We've got a good 20 inches. Subtract 14, that leaves us 6. That would be a 6-inch Z cut. Or we may do 19 inches, so that'd give us a 5-inch Z. I'm gonna use a white marker so y'all can see a little better. So we'll come ahead of this rivet, and I'm gonna go 2 3/4, which is right there. And we'll use our speed square here and wrap that around. See, that gets us 4 of these holes. I didn't want to go cut down through those or into them. I just wanted to be ahead of them a little bit there. Now from there, I told you we'd go 19 inches. Like I said, there is room for 20 technically. But if we wanted to get overly technical, this is actually a really overkill way of cutting down a frame. Now some folks will argue with you till they're blue in the face that it is indeed the only way to cut down a frame. But that frame back there is indeed proof that it's not, because that one, when it was cut down back in the day, was just done with a butt wheel, meaning they just measured out 14 inches and cut it straight, butted it together, welded it. The guy who built it, you can see it there, there's the butt weld all the way down, never even fish plated the inside or boxed it. When I started working on it, I'm the one who decided to box it. And I told y'all that frame had done a lot of towing, mudding, whatever. That chassis never cracked. So, I don't disagree, this is a better way. We're doing it this way to make y'all happy. I would argue that that's still a safe way to do it. It's plenty strong. This right here will just be the strongest way. So next, from that front line, we're gonna mark this way 14 inches, which is the amount we know we wanna take out. And then down here towards the bottom, we'll come off that one, and we're gonna mark 14 inches over here. So then we'll give us a mark, and then another mark, and that should create that 5 inches I was telling y'all about. Next up, we need the thickness of our frame, which is about 6 3/16 to 6 1/4, somewhere in there. We're gonna go right there, right between. So we're gonna basically go right there at 3 1/8. We'll come down here at 3 1/8, and that's gonna give us our center line we're after. And if that's not good enough, we're actually gonna drill a hole in this corner where that ends up rounded. And then after we cut this, that corner will round it a little bit where there ain't no sharp edges. And then on this, we do the same thing. We'll round the corner, and here we'll drill a hole where that ends up rounded. And then we'll cut right here, and then this corner right here will hit that hole. Then we'll head this way, and then we'll go down from there and straight across. And then we'll come up over here, and we'll cut over. And then that 14 inches, and that 14 inches, that whole thing comes out. That allows that to overlap where we slide that together. You weld it all up, 14 inches is gone. Take away those white lines where we don't even want to try to follow them and cut, because we don't need to, and squiggle that in, and now you can really see the chunk we're taking out. And a 1/4 inch wide paint tip marker is not the most accurate thing. I just wanted y'all to see that and understand it without having to try to see a black marker. So now I'm actually gonna relay this one out with a little more precision. If you want visibility and precision, a good way you can do that is just with some masking tape. I got her marked out by our marker where I can choose a little more accurate, but now I can't really see it. So we're gonna put tape along there, and then we're gonna point some arrows on the side of the tape we need to cut so we don't get confused and cut the wrong side. It happens. You better be careful, it happens. Oh gosh, got this side laid out. I'm laughing because I'm getting set up with oxygen for when I sleep, because apparently I don't get near enough. I'm checking some reference measurements since I got this side marked out. You might be ready to just grab that old slice and dice and start cutting, but we want to do a little extra checking. So I'm gonna go off those rivets that we originally started from, and to the center of this hole up here is 20 inches. And off of this rivet to the center of this hole is 20 inches. That's what we want to see. So what's that mean for us? That means when we cut this section out of here, when we go to put this together, as long as we get off that rivet to the center of that hole, matching on each side, that we've got a good reference there for making sure we're running square. 19 5/8 to the edge of the hole. 19 5/8. I wanted to confirm that because out here in the center we're kind of eyeballing, but going to the edge there you're not really eyeballing. So likewise, since we know we trust that, we can also just come and mark us a whole new mark right at 21 inches. Then over here at 21 inches, we can go off those rivets to that mark. So that gives us one form of reference for squaring up. That frame's 2 1/2 wide, so I'm gonna mark it right there in the center at 1 1/4. And then I'll pull off that rivet and go to the center there, and we get 38 3/8. So then we'll check this one, and we get 38 3/8 on the money. That's a good thing. That means our section here we're cutting out's already square. So we can cut out our section, we can get our measurements matching on each side, then we can check off those same rivets to these reference points now to make sure we're square. You definitely want to check across measurement before you do all the work I did on this one and then walk by one day and go, she looks a little crooked. Let's start over. She don't roll as good as she used to. I can't skate her no more. The next thing we want to do is try to just check it to see if our cross members and stuff down through there are fairly level. But also I'm going to try to elevate it. Get a little elevation in the situation where when I do the bottom cuts, it's a lot easier to get to. Oopsie daisy. Honestly, I was watching Theo because he laid over there and he crossed his paws. And I was like, oh, what a cute dog, Slam. Woo. And for this, we just gotta get creative and jack around in the right places. All right, now we just want to get it high enough, which I'd be happy with that. I can lay underneath there with a death wheel near my face. That looks about perfect. Now that elevates it. Let's check her for level. That's pretty spot on. And that's actually the reason we're on this side to cut down the frame, because just by eyeball, this side of the concrete's a lot better than over there. There's a lot of low spots. That's reading nice and 0. I can't hardly trust this one. It's got too many crusties on it. I'll clean it. I got the crusty eraser right here. I don't know if y'all can see, but that's favoring this side of here, which could indicate, let's see, if that goes forward, it's gonna drop it more. This side needs to come up a bit. So, because this is going into incline, so we shove that back, that should pick up on that. And now we're reading dead nuts on 0. Probably been fine without it, but a couple taps gets her there anyhow. So no more work than what we've done there, and the sucker's pretty level. And my takeaway from this is this frame, we know 1, 2, 3, 4 points we can check it for level, and it should all read level after we get it lined up and tacked back together and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little cleaning here so I don't lay all in that. And I'm gonna run our jack up just till it kisses it, just so it don't drop when we cut it. There's a reason they call me 2 Jack and Jacob, because I got 2 jacks. All right, same thing back there, we just don't want that to drop. You can see if we had suspension on this, it'd actually probably be easier because the back would stay rolling, the front would kind of roll with the, and you could line it back up. Once we cut, one of these pieces has to move entirely. Well, it's time to actually make the cuts. My wife volunteered to do it.
Sure.
Sure. You gonna cut it for her? Yeah. Dang. Thought one of them girls was gonna do this for me. Just drill that out till we touch those edges. Here we go. I'm gonna do the first cuts on the bottom. That one has a little wobble to it. If you ever feel that, I like to loosen that. Just kind of shake on it. Try tightening it again. That feels better. I had a little midriff showing. That don't feel good with sparks on it. Woo! Those sparks feel good on my legs. Be sure to wear shorts. I left our cuts on top here to do yet, just because I don't want to fully take that out and it drop. We'll get that side caught up. As you can see, that brake line is in the way on that side. A brake line's one of the few things we do need compared to the rest of the crap on there. However, I do not like how rusty that brake line is from about right there back. Heavily pitted, no good. There is a coupler right there, so that's getting cut out of there. We'll get the rest when we do our proper strip down later. We'll let that drain. We need them clamps. You see her drop some? Woo, she's officially cut, boys. The long beds fear me. Actually, y'all know I ain't scared to cut one down, but let me just clear the air. For lifted 6 inches on 37s, I think a long bed would look better. However, through all the talks of this build throughout the whole process, there's only been one thing my dad has always been super for sure on, and that's that whatever we do, it just stays a short bed. I gave him an option on some stuff, immediately, short bed. I sent him a picture of that all mocked up to cut out. He said, cut her out now. So, don't blame me, blame Puddin' Pops. Sorry, Dad. I'm gonna let you get ate up in the comments this time instead of me. I'm a nice guy. Equal opportunist. There she is. I'm gonna clean the inside and outside, get her prepped up nice. These corners right here are the ones we're rounding just a hair. A dab will do ya. Use our flap attack, and I went ahead and put a little bit of a bevel on all those edges. Obviously a lot easier to do right now with some area in between there. So now we can start working this sucker back into place. To help with that, I'm gonna get a couple pieces of scrap and some C-clamps. Just gonna give us a larger surface to slide that back and hopefully hold that edge. I was hoping those jack stands were just gonna slide. One is, the other one not so much. Looks pretty good right there, weld it. There we go. All right. So now you see how that sucker kind of starts to slide together there. But obviously we got a lot more adjusting fitting up to do. Now when I first leveled this sucker up, I know about where I have these jack stands underneath where the brake lines went from the factory, about right there. So in theory, if we put those back where they were, that should get us sitting pretty flat here fairly quick. I'd say that's pretty dang flat. Trying to hold that one because we need to bump that side back. So it closes. Then it was springing forward because of how it's sitting on our jack stand. And it looks like that side probably needs to go up a hair. It's running downhill, creating a bigger gap up there. So for that, we just pick up, kick that back, and then pull that back, and that gap closes up some. That may just be an offset of our two cutoff wheels, creating a bigger gap there than what should have been. That was a fancy way of saying I should have measured a little better right there. Shoot, I thought I did. Shoo! Also pretty stinking flat. I think we're sitting good right in there as far as our height goes. Looks good. If you ever look down these, you'll notice the frames kind of curve in and out. So you can't really trust the inside edges. What we want to trust is this outside edge. Again, all the way across there. If I go down there where the step is, That looks nice and straight. Up there, nice and straight. This side's looking good as well. Oh no, see right? So up here's looking good, but these frames, they'll suck in on you, so you gotta watch them. So then down here, that piece of frame down there is sucked in. So this is good. Down there we'd need to pull out. Which do not fear, guys, it will be worked into place. And I can almost guarantee you every C10 frame, the way they stamp this C channel, flexes some. So if you cut one of these and expect to see it just stay perfectly straight, if someone tells you it does, I don't believe it. I can almost guarantee every single one of them is gonna move a hair or some. All right, thanks to our reference points here, I've discovered what's going on over there. And I can show you, I'd marked 21 inches ahead, we took out 14 inches. That should put us right at 7 inches, and we are there dead money on this side. Fit up looks good, other than prying that one piece out a little. Well, if we look over here, that needs to go back about another 1/8 inch. And we have plenty of room for that to go back. What's actually preventing it is it's touching down here. And we've got about 1/8 inch right there. So we need to take a little more material off right here and then off the bottom where this can slide back extra 1/8 inch. Extra. Look at that gap closed up now. This is the time to take your time. Make sure we get everything as straight as possible everywhere. I'll tell you what was really cool. A minute ago when I checked the top of that, this was kind of sitting up like that, so I knew this needed to go up. Push back on that jack stand, whoop, because that's on an angle, it picks up. I picked up on it till we read level up there, dead nut 0. And then I came back here and checked our straight edge again, and we were good again. And check this out. Off that rivet right there, we're dead nut 7 inches now. And look how much better that gap looks, all closed up. Nailed it. I'm happy with our tops, and our tops there, 7 inches on each side. I went cross measurement that way and got 32 and 11/16. And if we hit that right here, we're gonna start tacking. Let me go off the proper one, that'll probably help, the front one. 32 and 11/16 on the freaking dot, guys. Lock it in. All right, guys, this is where you can take your time. I locked those corners in good. Now this corner kind of sags down again just from the flex of the frame. Not really a big deal. We can either grab that and pull it up, or grabbing this like it was on there was actually holding those, picks it up just a hair. This is again just from the good old flex frame they offer. Get you a chunk of metal where you can put your C-clamp in there, and a little bit of deflection we do have. I don't know if y'all just seen that straighten up, but it sure did. That's golden. Tag it, move that to this corner setup. It would have been fine, guys, but we can move it over there. It don't take much time. And I did see that pull in a hair, so this should have it as straight as possible. Both sides are tacked up. Very happy with that fit up. That should burn in quite nice. Not necessarily worried about pretty welds here, guys. Just burning them in nice and hot. Push puddle uphill. Make sure we're melting through. Just make sure she's nice and hot. Ow. Guys, TMI, but y'all know I get those testosterone pellets. They put them in my butt, and I always joke that one's gonna shoot out. Well, I think I've got one that's actually melted down into a Sharpie point, and it's literally trying to come out. I'm talking about the skin's to the point of being about paper thin. I'm literally gonna shoot a pellet out the rear. Well, originally in my head, was gonna leave those welds on the outside because they really don't matter, but then me liking pretty things just couldn't help it. So I ground those down, went ahead and just put a cap on everything on the inside. About half of it had penetrated all the way throughout the back, the other half not so much, which is okay, guys. I promise you, we could probably leave this exactly as is, and there's never gonna be a problem out of it. It's plenty hot, plenty of penetration through both sides now, but we are still going to box this thing. There's your pro tip, guys. If you want a nice finish on the outside, if that's important to you, knock that first weld down with the flap attack, and you can get a little carried away because those are bad about gouging. But whenever you weld it on the back side, this metal will kind of push out there where all that heat is, and then you can come in with your roll lock. It pushes it out enough where then you come in with this sucker, you keep that perfectly flat where you're not gouging, and then just knock down that little bit of that metal, finish her out with a DA. It's a quick way to do it, and you're using the heat from welding on the other side to help kind of bulge that out after quickly knocking her down. Kind of smart if you think about it, and that may not sound, don't think about it. You ain't gotta do much thinking to know that that's a good looking cut down right there though. P-Tang did it again, baby. Good morning. Before we can do any boxing of the frame, we actually need to get our gas tank up into place because it does kind of mount down here, so we got to be aware of it. I never really was into boxing, you know, I was more into the karate. Big hole right here, that's where we're aiming for one of our straps to go. Which honestly, I don't even know why we use those or leave them, because even if you unbolt that, it's not like you can drop that tank out of there because the way the saddle is. Realistically, we could cut those off flush and then not even have to worry about these stupid things. You see what I mean? I mean, look at that bracket. It tucks up underneath the cab. So what are you gonna do? Climb up in there and release those and then squeeze this out? It ain't possible. So on our other chassis, I ended up having to even drill a couple more holes on this because the way this is cut, we're gonna have to drill probably everything back here. Up front, I got us one bolt started, used a hole from our factory frame, and it went through a hole that I had drilled on this because none of this stuff really lined up good like it should have. All them damn nuts welded there and nothing lines up, huh? In fact, for the back bolt, even over there, I'd had to drill a new one. So my goal was to get 3 bolts in each one. And I decided I'm not gonna cut these. And the only reason is if we ever drop the tank and gotta pull those straps, it'll always be a lot easier to start the straps having all that extra thread. But no, I'm not convinced. I was thinking so we can change the fuel pump, but you drop those brackets and just pull the fuel pump. Again, not thinking. We're cutting those suckers. There's no reason to put a big old hole in the frame for those. On the small chance you ever have to replace this tank, these straps are like 15 bucks and they bolt on down there. The chances of this tank ever needing replaced in the next 2 decades very slim. Our fittings here, we're gonna make sure to tape them up. I've ran this fuel pump before, and there is indeed a little bit of fuel splashing around in the bottom. We do not want a spark going down in there. That one had a hole, and I don't give a damn, I cut it too. Since no existing holes on the rear works, it's kind of up to us to set it. So I dropped our front frame down to a reading level right there, and then we're just gonna get this pretty close to level, and we're gonna hope that that's kind of good enough. It's pretty close right there. See, clamp that rear into place, cut us down a little pencil here, and we're gonna mark them out. I said I wanted 3, right there's a hole. So I'm gonna trace that hole, and we can just drill a new hole right there and put a through bolt. Take her for a ride on the Oklahoma Tornado. Everything lined up perfect. We're not gonna tighten our through bolts. We just wanna know where our bolts all are, so as we plate this, we wanna make sure we'll be able to get those in and out. You guys have seen me box several frames over the years, including a couple square body frames. I'm gonna set this up here. Little tappity, and then we can see where to go. And maybe notice I put a little reference mark here to line up to our green tape. Ta-da! She's trimmed. Take our 2 marks, line them up right there with that tape, and that should sit down in there perfect, which it does. And now we got to decide on how to shape this piece where we can get access to everything. We got 2 bolts right in line with here, just kind of eagle-eyeing it, and 1 right up in here. So as far as finishing our shape, guys, I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer on how to do this. Just know how it looks when you're done is gonna reflect with how much effort you put into it. So if it looks like you just throw a piece of scrap up there, or if you just throw a piece of scrap up there, it's gonna look like you just threw a piece of scrap up there. Every frame's always a little different. For us, we're gonna need a slot to get to those 2 bolts. We could do another hole for the front, or we can take some off the boxing plate. As y'all can see, I think that right there would look pretty good. It should give us access to everything and add plenty of strength. Just rebuilt that tip. Took me a minute to figure it out because I had a wrong piece in there, of course. And then I'm trying to cut it, still cutting terrible. Had a bad ground. Don't worry, the tip needed rebuilt anyhow. Remove our exhaust hanger. Just want to make sure this will work over here as well. And it will, so we'll just cut another one of these, except we don't need the slot on this side. We'll cut out another one and get some primer on the back side. We'll get over here cleaned up. One C-clamp, look at that fit up, guys. She's ready to weld. Now, if you really wanted, guys, you can grind these out. I'm fine with leaving these welds. A little black paint on that's gonna look nice. Both sides are DUN. She's done. We've got nice access right there to that one. We'll have access to those 2 in there, I hope. Yeah, right there, and then that hole right there that's open right now. I'll tell you one thing, you gotta be careful bending over here, because you can take a poke from that to the back side and it'll wake you up. It did me this morning. Next, we move to the rear. We'll start by getting this hitch off here. These bad boys are rusty and crusty, so a little wire wheel and cleanup may go a long ways. It was a battle, but success. Did I go grab the torch? No. I battled it out based off principle alone. Just to show it cannot defeat me. Just took all those tools instead of one torch. Makes sense. Boy, I messed up there. I should have just rode on that crap. I thought it was gonna flake off there. It is not. Trying to get that where we can see good. We need to take 6 inches is what they say to take off the back of one of these. We're just gonna go out to the tip of that, which should be right at 6 inches. And I've now successfully made it harder to see. Another long bit bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. All right, guys. On a 2-wheel drive, you've got a cross member back there that you got to cut the rivets out of to move forward. I guess on these 4x4s, there's enough distance there that we can take that 6 inches off. And I know, we've ruined it now. It's officially ruined. Cut down in the middle, cut down on the back. And this chassis that had been sitting out in the junkyard for who knows how long and was never going to get put back on the road again is going to get put back on the road and not get crushed now. But I'm the one who ruined it. I know. Access hole for the wind. Up next, we're gonna measure from our front leaf spring hangers, which are not adjustable, and we're gonna measure up to our front spring hanger up here, which is also not adjustable, and we wanna make sure those are matching. We moved our jack stands and put us a 9/16 bolt in there where we can hook onto that. And this on our other truck was majorly off. And check this out. We're right there about 114 and 9/16. If we check this side, we're at 114 and 13/16. 1/4 inch of difference. Probably came from the factory that way, guys. I don't suspect this one to be tweaked at all. We're about to do some cross measuring and confirm that the frame is pretty dang straight. I think that's always just the differences of these pieces being riveted on and just not good. But I tell y'all, that one was off. It was like 1 3/4 or something crazy. So honestly, this is runnable as is. I guarantee you 4x4 C10 pick 'em up trucks are running around right now with this bad a measurement, if not worse. Let's see, 75 and 3/16-ish, 75 and 1/16. So she's out a square about 1/8 inch. Again, how I believe this thing probably came from factory. Some of y'all are thinking, oh, not my truck. I bet it's perfect. Pull it apart, start measuring. I bet you'd be wiping yourself when you've seen some of the measurements that come off these frames. If that one can be 1 3/4 out of square and never looked crooked going down the road, this one, everything less than 1/4 inch, I think is gonna be just fine. I could live with this. I could not live with that. Up next, we're gonna attempt to make our hitch fit again. The back of the frame used to be right there. I can see where it was pressed in there to the back of that hole, 1 3/8. So then if we go from the edge of that frame, question is, can we go back 1 3/8? And the answer is yes, because right there's 1.5 inches. So we need to waller that hole out just about 1/8 inch away from that edge there. Little waller for $1. Don't worry, cowboy. I'm gonna plate this up somehow. You can't do that, Puddin'. Don't do it. Oh, we're gonna do it. What if Dad needs to tow 12,000 pounds with a 6-inch lift and 37s? That'll expedite that. Woo, watch your toes. Tried to get me. Guys, I did not want to cut that. But because that leaf springer hanger, I knew I was gonna have to no matter what. hammering that side to side till I get an equal gap between there. And then, let's see, we probably want to go, let's say, from that rivet to the edge of that, 3 inches. Rivet, edge of that. Woo, pretty well 3 inches. I mark center here, that's a 3-inch piece. So I'll mark it 1.5 inches. And then we'll check that, 19 1/8. We'll check this one, 20 1/8. So it's an 1/8 inch off, because if we take it an 1/8 inch one way, we're gonna split the differences. That should end up right at 20 on the dot. I'm successfully making it worse. You know why I can't get it happy? 17 inches off this plate to there, 17 1/4. This is off to the hitch. So with this being off, we can't square stuff up and get this centered. We can put this on here crooked and probably get this centered, but what we're gonna have to do is just split all the differences till it's good enough. 20 1/16, right at 20. I had to shift that whole thing that way, but that should have that pretty square to the actual truck. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Trimmed out where we needed for that bolt to be able to come up through with that centered up, and then take some 1/4 inch plate, cut it down to fit. We'll weld it in, and now in theory we should be able to drill our front holes, put bolts in there, go up, clamp it, then we'll mark our back holes, drill through this new 1/4 inch plate, and now that area will be nice and strong. Ow! Man, those burn every time. Whoop, whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least we got 4 out of the 6 in her. I'm really happy with how those 1/4 inch plates turned out. That's gonna make that a good area to clamp. The thing is, I wouldn't mind having more hardware in that sucker. I just don't know how I wanna do it. Yeah! Slick come over the other day and he cut some tubing and he had 2 pieces of this left over, and he said, "You want that for your scrap?" Yes! Those look like they'd make some mounts one day. We need some mounts for that. I've laid it out. We're gonna cut a 2-inch piece, then a 2-inch piece. We're gonna drill one hole, we're gonna drill another. We're gonna slot this one so we've got side to side, since we already know that side to side. We'll clean up, I'll do a little welding. This will work. As far as positioning, just taking our smaller one and lining it up right up in there with the center. We'll weld that baby on, then we'll flip that one right there, weld it on. They may not be the prettiest things, but at the same time, they damn sure ain't the ugliest things. And that was a quick, simple way to give us an extra bolt on there, and it also has play. That corner's a little sharp. Just a little cleanup, ain't nothing wrong with that. I will say, getting to this point took longer than I thought it would, but we've had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And speaking of that, I've got to take those crappy gauges back and get some new ones. KK's car is no longer blowing cold air, and I got to look into that now. So I'll be back on this thing first thing in the morning. We're probably gonna strip it down and then look at swapping some axles and setting a motor in here. Man, this thing's gonna be so much better than that one was. So much better. Here we go. We're gonna strip down on this some more, see if we can't make our scrap pile larger. I got our scrap pile charged up with some Freon last night. We'll start at the back and work our way forward. No brake line. She's gone. Yeah. Vent tube. Vent tube for the rear end. Yeah. crusty bump stops. No longer welcome. We're actually in pretty good shape. The 6-inch lift kit, if we got into those, we'd probably be in bad shape. If we look around on this chassis, the amount of crap that we don't need is a lot. Like the sphincter valve. We don't need that. Clamp for whatever that was. She's gone. Fuel crossover tubes. Never heard of her. I found an old repair on the chassis. I'll show you in a second. Let me get the booty hole poker 450 out the way. Yeah, that one was personal. You're the one who made it personal. Give me the surprise poke of a lifetime. Check this out. Piece of angle iron bolted on there, and then 3 bolts onto there. Now this cross member, as far as I know, really is just there to help with exhaust. And the reason I say that is, if we look over here, it looks like they literally come with a single bolt in between there. So that's just to give you a place to hang exhaust off of, which is where our exhaust hangers were. And it even has that ugly one welded on there. Let's just pull this sucker off here. One bolt each side just means it's easy to swap. And we've got one in better shape right here, so why not? Ah, that makes sense of why it broke. Look, on this side, probably because of whatever this was, I'm assuming, this don't actually go all the way out to the end, so that's just a flat piece. That's probably why our one over there is broke. So actually, that other one's probably stronger than this one, even though it's a bolted piece of angle iron. It looks better, and it was free. We already cut the brake line back there. Up here at this union, if I knock the grease off this line's in really good shape this way. So I'm actually gonna leave this in here, and I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna crimp that down where no sand will get in there when this gets blasted. And then this whole thing can get painted, and then we'll take this old piece out right here. We'll do a new line, so everything up along there can get painted. If you're trying to strip the frame, you gotta look close, guys, because look at that. Hit up underneath all that. I see a wire there that's been cut. There's a bolt in there. Can't hide from me. This side tried to fool me too. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Story of my life. I think that's how it goes. All these other clamps that we don't need, because we're going to use AN fittings. So out of all these lines, we only need our one brake line, guys. I've showed y'all this on that other chassis. All I'm going to do is take out these clamps that hold 3, and the other clamps we've been taking off that hold 1, I'm going to put back in its place. Thank you. We'll do a little simplification in this situation. Dirt daubers, Mother Nature's welder. Put a little of our Get Gone degreaser by the sweet patina in a rag. Now watch this. Told you there's a brake line hidden in there somewhere. Instead of clamping this the whole way, for now what I'm gonna do is just put one clamp in it so it don't bounce around as we handle it, probably like right back here. And then that way when we have it blasted, he can take that one clamp off, get that line out of the way, be able to do inside the frame rail real good like. Real good like. It looks a whole lot better now with all that unnecessary stuff out. We'll keep the party going up front, including bump stops. But I noticed they got dual bump stops, one there for the spring to get into, it looks like. Dang, that's the old bumper deluxe. Look like a Pac-Man goes wonk, 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 wonk. Get our motor mounts gone. Over there, our piece of brake line's already missing. It's just the hard line, the rubber line. On this side, we got a little bit of this left. We're gonna have to go with the super extendo brake lines at this point, since we've got 6-inch lift springs. And then speaking of brake lines, up last, we've got our lines that run up to our master cylinder. Whenever they had stripped this truck apart, it looks like the master cylinder's been missing for a long time. Those are full of dirt and debris, they're rusted. I hate to do this because replacing these will not be any fun, but we're gonna cut these down, kind of crimping it like we did on that one at the back. And we're gonna have to replace these, which I did not want to do, but it is what it is. Start cutting lines and you're guaranteed to make a mess, brake fluid, stuff like that. Luckily around here, every chassis comes with Pot County Shop Suite, you know. You just collect that red dirt that comes off the frame and work it right there, and she'll soak all that up, don't worry. Over here on our old chassis, we'll start disconnecting our drive shafts. We're gonna swap both axles over with the new springs for at least one mock-up. And we still gotta set our drivetrain. Did you know that pliers can be a pry bar, but a pry bar can't be pliers? Get my pry bar. Get my other pry bar. Going up. You like that, you little dumb lift blocks? I installed you and the internet spoke up. They hate you. Nobody likes you. Get out of here, stupid lift block. Nobody wants you around. Except me. I ain't got a problem with you. Well, if y'all hate lift blocks, don't drive around Pot County and look at all the brand new trucks that are 50 to 100 grand. See what's got them lifted in the rear. I think this old dirt road beater would have been just fine with them. That gets our back up in the air. Now hopefully we can, and underneath that cross membrane, we'll be able to fit. You're watching a genius at work. I did the old flip and set. Now that's got her up in the air. We don't need lift blocks anymore because now we have 6 inches of suspension lift. Before, the truck had none. Then we added 4 inches and was planning on a 2-inch body lift. Now we're ditching all the body lift and we're hoping 6 inches is enough to clear us on the 37s. 25 and 5/8, 24 and 15/16. The part number side is shorter. Shorter side should go to the front, I believe. You know what? I'm not gonna drive those sleeves in the rest since we're just going for a real loose mock-up here, and all this has to come back apart anyway. Creating more hard work right there to get those back out. I've heard really good stuff about Super Lift. I will say I hate the fact they just ship a leaf spring not wrapped up. It gets all scratched up, so we already got surface rust coming in on these. This sticky whatever packaging just looks terrible. So it's supposed to be good spring, but I'm not a fan of the finish on it already. I am a fan of the 6-inch lift kit. I found it for sale on eBay, brand new, for like 724 bucks. That came with all 4 lift springs, steering arm, shocks, U-bolts, bushings, everything, guys. I stole that sucker. That's cheaper than the 4-inch lift kit with blocks, by far. Oh yeah, I'll still be out there scrounging up a good deal. Man, those springs are heavy. I just blew out my button. Oh, how heavy are they? Heavy enough to blow a gut. I think I was lucky that sucker hit my shirt and did a ding, hit him in the hind end. Let's work a little smarter and not harder here. We better be careful. We'll shake this thing off the jack stands. Don't figure this out, guys. I ain't never worked with a spring this big. I think it's safe to say our shackles squeezed in from those being tightened up on the worn out bushings. Yeah. Hey, look, it's Top Stitch Taylor's mustache. Y'all remember when we installed the other lift kit, because these were 3/4 ton axles, it did not come with proper U-bolts. They were too small, but I got the proper ones here now. Well, actually I probably don't, because I just thought about it. We gotta have, or we don't have a lift block now. Either way, I'm gonna use these ones that we had just custom made for mock-up. I think those ones got enough thread, we'll be able to get her mocked up, and apparently I'm gonna have to get shorter ones. Once again, come see me for all your expertise lift kit needs. I ain't got a damn clue what I'm doing. Don't park on a hill, Dad, and if you do, better bring a wheel chock. These cables are coming apart. They ain't no good anyhow. That ain't supposed to do that. There ain't nothing fun about handling big heavy rear ends by yourself. That's a good time to have a buddy around. And that sounded a lot worse than I meant it to. You know, sometimes you just need a little help. What's the worst that could happen? She fits! Woo! I didn't think she was gonna clear. Easy does it. Easy does it. Had to add a couple 2x4s where we get rolled underneath there. The chances of me taking those out and that falling into place perfect is pretty well slim to none. But we're gonna try it. I'm good, but I ain't that damn good. Apparently that trick worked pretty good, because that sucker lined right up. Had to cut our bolts down where we could run our impact down further. But this is good enough for a mock-up, guys. And damn, could you imagine if that was on some 37s? I've never removed one of these. I assume we just take those off, and then we gotta separate, so chisel in between. Maybe hammer on it. She ain't done a dang thing so far. Yahtzee. I pulled our slip yoke off, drive shaft. Looks like our diff cover is leaking, which is nice since I'd replace that gasket and service that. Looks like the pinion's leaking as well. This thing's cherry. Ow! Getting carried away. Looks like it's moving some at least. Let's see. Ah, I see. Those swedge in there. I thought those were flattened lock washers when I first seen them. Boy, that would not be fun to do with the axle still underneath the truck. At least that way I could flip it over and really whoop on it. There we go. Lock her up off there. Get our front top stitch Taylor mustache springs. And these are bigger than those, of course. Speaking of top stitch, I heard if you say his names 3 times, he'll appear. Top stitch Taylor, top stitch Taylor, top stitch Taylor. Oh, damn. He just shows up and waves. Top stitch got us fixed up on our wagon. He had the door panels as Gary had it for some reworking some seals in it. So that baby's all put back together. Windows good to go. Seals are all good to go. That thing's like riding around in a damn, I don't know, what do they call those things? Phantom, basically. Rolls Royce Phantom. Freewheel going repeat as the rear guys. I'm going with the part numbers forward. These are symmetrical. Well, no, the 4-inch were symmetrical. I better measure these ones, see if they're symmetrical. You'd think if the factory ones were, the 4-inch was, that these would be too. But I guess you never know. 23 3/4 to the center. I see 23 1/2 there, so it's close. Allegedly a 1/4 inch shorter. I'm going part number forward. And that hole in the back can be hard. Gosh darn it, I did not mean it like that. Get your impact and you can use it to direct it. And then spin it and start it. Dab it to you. And then you pull it up and to you. Of course, when we go back together for the final time, we'll replace these bushings and everything. She'll all be spruced up. Need some mahoogas. Yeah! Yeah, that's why I'm popping buttons earlier. Pretty good. Let me get a jack stand. That's a lot easier with top stitch here. My goodness. I might have to get that a rollout ladder where you can deploy it. Shit, Jake, can't even get in the damn thing. What you giggling at? I thought you're laughing at the fact that I just tried to put this all on backwards and you come over here and lighten it all up for me.
Oh, no, it's fine.
When he says he can't say it, he can say it. It's just gonna be in a minute when this camera ain't on. Nailed it. Oh, except for the fact somebody put that jack right in the damn one. I've been going off of the part number and stuff. These are angled, so I can guarantee it's supposed to go a certain way. And that's angled where it helps point it up. So that should be correct. Let's ask Top Stitch, he's the damn expert. How many of these have y'all lifted at work?
Just one.
Yeah, but you're damn encyclopedia. Once you do something once, you'll never forget it. I do something and forget it the next minute.
And that's how those nails are. I'm 5'8".
I'm just jealous it ain't on that Mercedes instead.
This is a 235/75.
All right.
Jimmy's gonna be like,
Hit! Next week he's getting full shoulder replacement on one arm. After this he's gonna need a hip replacement.
yeah, that's the front. This is the back.
You talked me into it. Let's roll a 37 over here and see what she looks like.
Oh, baby. Woohoo!
Now we just need to jack that front end up till we get that centered. And then we'll kind of know what she's gonna look like. Here we go. Kind of jacked up on her and got her centered up. Old Roy's gonna look tough, guys. Of course, it's gonna look better when that's a steely too. Get a cherry picker set up and ready to pick. We felt the whole chassis start to pick up. See what happens when I release the magic strap here. Oh, whole thing's doing a papa wheelie. I get underneath here, 3/4. Be free! Woo! So we picked that up. That's letting our chassis fall. So we need to stabilize. Transfer case, free. With our gearbox pulled off there, this thing's quite literally ready to go to scrap. I don't want nothing else off of it. She's crooked as can be. Get it out of here. That's how I spin my wife and dip her before a smoochy kiss. Watch your honey, incoming. Transmission's been rebuilt, she's fresh. Transfer case was always good. We'll clean on it before it goes together for the final time. Right now we're just like everything else, nice little mock-up. I think I'm gonna try to put these two together and then we'll be able to pick it up and take it as a unit. But 4x4 works to square that up. Get you enough Lincoln logs and you'll get her to line up pretty good. She's trying to wiggle together. Jacked up on her a couple times till this looked a little more level, and then she slid right together, guys. Now we just gotta get it rotated and a bolt started. We'll start one caddy corner from that. We're good to go. I picked her up pretty level. Sprayed a little looby-dooby on them wheels. That helps for moving this sucker around. Theo's like, man, I ain't safe nowhere. I just left over there. Excuse me, didn't mean to interrupt your nap. I do apologize, sir. To the left now, y'all. Swinging this sucker like a Cadillac. Come on. You're pretty close right there. Get wiggled up underneath here and kind of got it where I can move it some. Moving the whole truck now. Yeah, bench press. Hey, it's working. Y'all didn't hear that, but damn it, I was pushing. Cut me a break. I'll cut the cheese, y'all cut me a break. That crap's heavy. Thought I had it started. Apparently I did not. Probably gonna be more difficult than expected. Got him. Just now notice I put that bushing on backwards. That should be flipped. Good enough for mock-up. That thing shifted after I had picked it up once. So to level it up, I had a ratchet strap the front up to there just so she floated better. Get our trans supported where it's adjustable for stabbing our engine. And now we gotta clean these puppies up. Protect your input there. Somebody order a low mileage 6-liter. Make sure our frame's level. Our transmission, I put one down there. It was not level because this kind of off hangs. So I wedged in a piece of wood there to get it level. Moved our strap underneath there. She's still adjustable. Let's get this motor stabbed. ain't got a fancy leveler, but I do have this. So I'm gonna drop her a chain link or two. That looks better. She's lined up fairly decent. You gotta remember, as this drops, the motor will go back. Dang! The motor's rotated some, but we're gonna hit her dowel on this side. Got one long one started. Boop! Drop that down. Sucker fell right into place. I dropped this down and brought it back this way because the motor was sitting sideways, so I knew we need to pick up on this side more. After I just jacked it back up, I just kind of eyeballed for a gap in between there. I know we need it for the motor mounts. Put our angle finder on here. She's at 0. Next thing we'll do is put that on the edge of the motor mount. Check to the center of that bolt. 3 15/16. Then we'll check this side, and we get 3 15/16. So that's looking pretty good. We may be running downhill too much. Yeah, we're like 5.5 degrees there. We can come down a little bit. We've got good clearance other than, what is that? Some bolt underneath there. That bolt's loose. Was there a ground that used to go to the pan? What the heck's that? I know this is gonna change as we get weight on that some, but that right now is at like 10 degrees. So we don't want to get this one close to 3. I actually think we're gonna do better by keeping it up at 5, 6. I just don't know how that relates with then up here. I'm sure that angle finder's fine. Speaking of old Roy for Dad, look what the cat drug in. Should work.
I like the way you do it. It almost looks like something factory.
Good. We get some paint on that, you won't ever even tell that was a cut down truck. She's gonna be better than she ever was before. I promise you that.
You get her too high and I'm getting old.
You better start stretching them knees, old man. Yeah. We've got Dad vacuuming down right now. We've kind of been eyeballing this engine, getting it centered up, and I've got bad news and I've got good news. Bad news is I can't get it down as low as I want it. Good news was I was able to mark it up here and see where I could notch it. Bad news then was I realized the crank pulley's gonna hit. Good news is I can notch that too. Bad news is I can't get that in there to clean it. This will go down about half, and we should just be able to follow this right in here. You're lucky I love you.
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't seen the Toyota yet. Did you see with those slats on the side?
Toyota.
Your Toyota.
Oh yeah, no.
He ain't seen it in person yet. Like it's so much different.
Yeah. Looks like the Toyota.
Not bad for not pumping it. Guys, I think I drove it Monday or Tuesday. Today's Friday. So I didn't touch the gas or nothing. She runs good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No, she ain't done.
That's done enough.
That's in case the motor quits running, you can pick that up and use it as a sail.
Yeah.
She'll work around the farm.
Put that back down. I pull trees. I throw a chain around here and do suck trees right out of the ground.
So you'll have it broken, bringing it back to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Give me something else to work on.
I still need to put flow controls on there. This gets a little questionable. Just wait till the end here. A little slammy.
Yeah.
Not bad. Unfortunately, that means this baby's got to come right back out though, because we got some fabricating to do. All right, I finished marking out where we're gonna cut. So it's gonna get a little funky. Don't go off no jumps, the front end will buckle.
Nah, should be all right.
We didn't need that. Cross member. We don't need no stinking cross member. I know some of y'all's thinking, just cut that sucker out and just build a new one. The thing is, unless it ties back to in here, there really ain't no point in like taking this out and coming forward and put one here. So this is the quick, simple way to do it. It's what we'll do. Two-inch wide, quarter-inch thick, perfect. Cut out 2 more little pieces. Grinder and paint make me the welder I ain't. The welds look fine. I've just been smoothing it up as I go. I just think it'll look better flowing. Cut 2 more pieces of that stuff. Kind of goofy shape there. That'll work. Screw it. I was gonna grind those out too, but apparently I'm a better welder than grinder because I think my welds look better than after I ground it. My only regret's not leaving those ones. Stabbed our motor back in. Now to get it sat down where I want it. Y'all see that little stubby hanging down off there? That's starting to hit our cross member right about where we need it. I'm gonna cut that off. I ain't scared, mama didn't raise no punk. I think these are gonna be the simplest motor mounts I've ever made. Let me get them going and I'll show you. Huh? Huh? That right there is pretty dang simple. 4 7/16. 4 7/16. Those just drop down in place. We'll let this side touch. They do run at an angle. We'll fill that up with weld or a little piece, we'll see. Side to side, we're good. And now we've got about 3.5 degrees instead of 5.5. Lock them in. Yes! Whew. Just had one little hiccup. I dropped that sucker down, was excited, and when I cut that bracket off, I could see kind of down there that stuff looked like it was barely rubbing. I pulled her 2 bolts, picked that up. I'd kind of cut it down at an angle, so I cleaned that up with the flapper. She's good to go now. There's clearance in between there. Trying to set it back down. The bolts wouldn't line up for the motor mounts. I'm like, I just spent a couple hours making sure this thing was square as could be in there. What the heck? And I had propped the backside of the transfer case with a board earlier to help keep the transmission square and everything. And then I guess when I popped that out of there, it wedged. When I realized that board was back there, I knocked it out of the way. Bloop! Everything went right down into place like it's supposed to be there. Earlier, I planned on dropping this and shoving it outside where we could appreciate it and see it out in the sun. The only thing is, it's probably 8 something, so the sun's just about gone. Ain't gonna let it rain on my parade though. Feels good to just roll it out and see it outside. Motor sits down in there so much nicer and tighter than the old one. The chassis, just by eye, is so much straighter. Looks so much better. Having suspension lift all the way around does look a lot better. We know it's performance-wise is better and safer and everything too. Hitch on, ready to go. Guys, old Roy, version 17 we're on. She's looking awesome. Well, I ended that day, guys, and this is not exactly how this video was supposed to end. We're fast forward like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now, and we've had bad weather. As you can tell, I've got the vehicles stacked in here. I tried desperately to work this in a way where this video was gonna end and I was gonna be able to get this all stripped apart into the sandblaster and back with everything in paint, where we could have got it back to this point, but everything was gonna be black. Now I could have handled my part, but just getting a hold of people, schedules did not line up for that, unfortunately. which is part of it. I get it. So I really wanted to at least end the video with this on the wheels and tires that's actually going to be running. And as you can see, those are not here neither. I was supposed to have those Thursday. Then I was going to go have them mounted on the tires, which I do have, which is not a huge reveal because we've already shown them in this video. Right here is what was originally on Old Roy, and guys, Old Roy ain't much Old Roy anymore. It's not gonna be much of Old Roy at this point, and I'm about to elaborate even more on that. But the one thing I had always absolutely loved about Old Roy was the 16.5-inch Stillies on the military 37-inch Humvee tires. Halfway through last year or so, I found a set of these which were advertised as 98% tread, which I think is the closest you can get to new. We still got nipples on these suckers. Still got flaps from when they make them or whatever. There's still stickers showing on this somewhere, right there. Got a set of 4 of these for Dad. So these are what was on Old Roy, but they're not all dry rotted out like Old Roy's tires were. The ones that came off, I would not trust them on the highway with my dad in it. We will still have Old Roy's OG axles, Old Roy's OG transmission, and transfer case. But at this point now, she obviously has new suspension, gonna have a whole nother chassis, LS engine that it never even dreamt of. But as far as the body goes, take a walk with me. Not you, lazy. You can sleep right there if you want. He said, heck no, Dad, where are we going? So the body of Old Roy is kind of like the frame of Old Roy, or the old, just everything about Old Roy. The more you look, the worse it gets, kind of thing. Old Roy needs doors. Old Roy needs 100% a front clip. The step-side bed was in decent shape, and I did have some fenders from this truck and a hood that we could have worked a little bit and probably made work. These doors could have possibly worked for us, but the thing is, Old Roy would be to the point of needing a paint job. And at first the plan was to do like a scuffing spray on the outside, and then you just kind of run it. That was the OG plan. We were planning on just throwing a small block back in Old Roy when it was a roller, the way before I ever decided to tear into it. So as that's kind of escalated, then it becomes to the point, well, if we're gonna paint it, then you're gonna what? You're gonna have a painted green truck with a maroon interior. Then this is gonna have to get full redone. If we're gonna full paint that, then we gotta do floors. Then we're doing all this stuff to have a really nice painted truck that's gonna go live on dirt roads and get abused. And y'all know I hate painting body. Well, that ain't changed yet. So as one door closes, another door opens, guys. Cue our long bed here. This was not purchased with the full intention of giving it to my dad, and it may not be the one we use. This was a truck we did a wheel it run on, and then recently me and Mordsky pulled transmission. We did the freeze plugs. It's a big block truck that runs and drives as is. It still needs work, but she's a pretty decent truck. Now up at Mordsky's, there's a long bed in the same color of green that we have 2 of here. That one's Mordsky's, this one's mine. Up at Mordsky's, I have a long bed that's this green color completely. It's got a white roof, but it don't have the white insert. I've kind of seen the truck in some pictures. Then Mordsky picked it up, and you don't really know what you got until you put eyeballs on it. So at some point this summer, I need to get up there, get that truck running and driving, drive it back down here. Then at that point, Dad is gonna have his choice between this one or that one from up there, and whichever one he decides on, we're just gonna combine that with our new chassis setup. And yes, we'll polish it all out and get it looking nice, but then that'll be one that can go live on a dirt road. And I know y'all are gonna be crazy and give me a hard time about not doing a full paint job and stuff, but you got to understand, my dad ain't gonna have a show truck. He don't want a show truck. He's not much of a old vehicle guy anyways, so I'm gonna have to stay on him about making sure the battery even stays charged on the dang thing. I'm gonna have to make him drive it probably. Anyways, that is where we're headed with this at this point. That's the game plan for now. So I really wanted that to be wrapped up a little further along to conclude this video, where it looked like we were further ahead than what we had started with, because the beginning chassis and now where we're at kind of looks the same. One's not totally out of square like the other one is, so that's a big improvement. But visually I wanted y'all to see a big improvement, so just picture that with some black paint, some steelies with some 37s on it. And then we'll get the other pickup here. Like I said, I'll bring Dad over. He'll get the choose your choice C10 edition. Do you want the solid green? Do you want the green light green? Whichever one he chooses, we're gonna pull in the shop. We'll pull it down off that chassis. We'll cut the bed down, and then all the stuff will be going back onto this chassis. And obviously this will already be revamped and ready for its new body. And then we will literally have old Roy 0.0 or whatever we were calling it. The good thing about doing it the way we're doing it is it's kind of like the way I do my builds, and y'all's not dumb to that. The inside of those are painted, everything. That's a pretty good truck out there. Doing just some basic fresh interior pieces on it, a fresh seat, a new dash pad, you know, very simple things in there makes that a nice interior for a nice driver. Or again, if Dad's out there walking in mud or whatever, you're hopping in there, it's getting dirty. You don't want brand new stuff, because you don't want to drive it. And that's coming from someone with experience now. Like, if it's nasty out, I don't want to drive my Model A because it has nicer paint. If I'm filthy, I don't want to get in the wagon because it has nicer interior. So I'm trying to do a balance where Dad gets a nice truck, but he'll use the damn thing and drive the tires off of it, kind of like what we built for Randy, who he literally does that, his daily driver. So that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed. I know y'all had seen a lot of this before because we had kind of already done this on that one. But sometimes to make things right, you got to just take a couple steps back and do it right. And right now, she's did right. I'm really happy with this. Like I said throughout the video, I think this version of Old Roy is going to be the best version that the truck could ever have possibly dreamt of being, because that first version, and even before we started messing with it, was quite literally just a thrown together pickup truck made from scraps that Buddy's had. And she's just going to become, you know, a bigger thing now. Thank y'all for being here. puddins.fab.shop if you want to support this dream of building cars and trucks here, being able to give this one to my dad. I appreciate all the support of y'all doing that, because that keeps all this going. And yeah, it means the world to me and my family, so thank you guys. I'm on the Patreon. If you want to watch the same content, it's just full ad free there, which is nice. Get you a break from all the constant ads on here. Also a great way to directly support me and my family. Other than that, we're on the Instagrammer, the Facebooker, and don't get me wrong, guys. Y'all just being here watching week by week, especially if you're over on the second channel too, is also a great way to support me and the girls. And I cannot thank y'all enough for the support over the years. So I hope y'all have a good one. And do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. We'll see y'all on the next one.